Hello again, Bob Johnson with BK&W Model Works coming at you with another video. This time about a concept that I introduced during one of the Sidetrack Sunday live streams, which is building a layout out of used 55-gallon drums. Now, you may not know, but I'm kind of an iconoclast and I'm also a cheapskate. And so iconoclast meaning I'm a rebel and I'm trying to do things differently. I think it's important that we think about how to do things differently. And there's conventional ways of building layouts, and those are great ways of building layouts, no question, with, legs made out of expensive lumber and requiring a lot of time. So I really racked my brain on how to get my layout elevated quickly and cheaply. And I came up with using used 55-gallon drums. And it turns out there's a ton of these available for $5 or less each. Drums that were previously filled with foam insulation. And so they're basically useless for most typical purposes you would use a 55-gallon drum for. And so I should be able to pick up these. Now, unfortunately, right now, this is early February in 2026, and Pittsburgh still has close to 2 feet of snow on the ground. So these drums, probably stored outside, are not going to be readily available right now. But I do need to get two, and I may end up having to dig them out of some snow and ice in order to start doing an experiment. But at $5 each and putting 50 pounds of concrete into each one, or aggregate, something to weight them down, I'm still at $200 spent to elevate a layout up to 35 inches high. And there's no way you can do that with conventional construction methods and lumber costs. So it seems like a no-brainer to me. Now I'll show on the screen here a picture of my planned layout with the drums shown on there, and you can see how 18 drums will support the entire layout. The drums are 24 inches in diameter, and so that my layout is typically going to be 36 inches wide. That's both sides, 36 inches wide with a divider down the center divider down the middle. So I'm only going to have 6 inches of overlap, 6 inches hanging over the edge. So that should be pretty stable. I'm going to have to work on how to deaden the sound, how I'm going to make more conventional open grid framework to support the foam that I'm going to be putting on top. But I'm going to have to mount that to the barrels in a way that deadens sound. I'm going to have to work on that. But again, I have a feeling I should just get some rubber, use some rubber washers, something as simple as that, in order to mount those frameworks to the barrels in such a way that I'll deaden sound. So that's kind of the plan. Now I'm going to show you, I built a 1/124th scale model of a proposed layout, and I'm going to show that to you so you get a little bit better idea of what I have in mind. So as I said, construction is going to start with two 55-gallon drums, standard 55-gallon drums to support, and I've modeled a 10-foot long module here. So you see, this is kind of an open grid framework that I'll use for the construction, and try and get this centered for you. And I've spaced out the support members for the grid here on the ends of the modules so that the barrels will have members crossing them, and they'll be at the end of the module. So roughly like so. So this is my open grid. I've also included the backdrop. Sorry about focus there. Thank you, Panasonic. And so this will, this is the two sides of the layout. It's a dog bone layout. So this is how that looks. Now this piece here represents the pink foam insulation board, and I'm going to initially put down a layer of very thin 1/4 inch Luan plywood, followed by the foam. So that's that. There'll be one piece on each side, obviously. This piece, I've simulated the Luan, the pink foam, but also drew on a little bit of scenery to reflect what that will look like when it's got a little scenery on it. And then to give you an idea of scale, here's a 1/24 scale bob. But this is what it looks like. So I think it's going to work. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions. And I look forward to you tuning in. Feel free to subscribe to follow along on this big project.